Hello and welcome to MBS Academy, and today we're talking to Julia Gilroy, who's going to tell us all about Alexander technique, dance for children and her Zoom classes. Hello Julia and welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
So tell me about Alexander technique first, because that's probably the most unknown, misunderstood.
Right. Well, I'm going to start, if I may, with a quote, because I looked it up on Wikipedia and it's just brilliant, the sentence, and I could never repeat it like this. So it says, Frederick Matthias Alexander was an Australian actor who developed the Alexander technique, an educational process said to recognise and overcome reactive habitual limitations in movement and thinking.
Okay.
Quite a lot in there.
Yes. Habitual habitation and movement. So that is
habitual limitation in movement and thinking.
Right.
So in other words, what we do as we grow up, we develop habitual ways of moving and of thinking.
Yes.
So, I mean, the obvious one is when, we say to sit up straight, and everybody kind of sits up straight or stands up straight. And their idea of standing up straight is kind of pushing themselves, holding themselves and going against gravity because they think gravity is going to push them down. And of course, after a while, they're going to get tired because they're holding themselves in position. So they kind of start getting tired, which is absolutely normal. But then that's seen as bad. In fact, that's the body saying, no, I'm tired of doing that other stuff.
Yes.
And so they come back to here, so it's a kind of vicious circle. But behind that is the idea that I should stand like that.
Well, that's, I have to say, is how I was taught.
Well, it is, yes, there's a lot of misconceptions.
Yes. I mean, how should you stand?
Yeah, exactly. So it really is a mind-body technique, which is brilliant for MBS.
Yes.
The spiritual side comes into it too, naturally.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. So, I know that it's really hard to describe exactly what it is you're going to do. So, we thought today that you'd actually give a demonstration on me.
Okay.
So, I'm all yours.
Okay, so I want to do two demonstrations. There's a classic Alexander technique when I use touch. I use my hands to invite you, so that you're very active, you're not passive. I invite you to think of releasing, and between us we'll see what happens there. And the second approach is more of direction, so I'm not actually touching you, because in this age of COVID, it's interesting to see that actually you can do this on Zoom. You don't have to be in contact.
Yes. And
Okay,
also
so
you're meeting people's preference, because it is a preference as to whether you want to engage in touch or not.
True, yeah, very true. So, okay, so as I'm just going to place my hands on your, let's see, on your shoulders. Sorry, I'm just going to move your hair.
Okay.
So I'm just going to place your hands on the shoulders and just ask you to have the intention simply to release. So you're releasing not just the shoulders. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So it's not very difficult, this technique, really. Okay, so just really, release.
Well, as you say, that's where it's connected to the mind, isn't it? Because thinking, relax, and just thinking, relax, your body does respond.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm a CBT hypnotherapist, and I teach people to breathe and relax quite a lot. That doesn't mean to say that I'm particularly good at it myself.
Okay, I'm going to put my hands on your neck. Okay. Yeah. So the neck, this is kind of classic Alexander. The neck is where a lot of the problems begin, and just releasing the neck. Yeah. Okay, super. Yeah. Really nice. Okay, super.
So what are you doing actually with your hands when you're doing that? What are you feeling for?
As I said, it's a cooperation between both of us. And I'm releasing in the same way as you are, and inviting you to release with me, I suppose, in the most simplest form. but I can also feel the tensions that you may have in the body.
Yes. So you're feeling for the tensions, and I can feel the slight movements you're making, and I'm thinking about relaxing down.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see where the combination comes in.
Of the thinking.
Combination of the thinking,
Right.
relax, and you with your hands directing where the relaxation needs to be.
Right. Yeah. Okay. But there's a difference between relaxation and release.
Yes.
Relaxation is just letting go and having no kind of individual responsibility. Release is just noticing where you have the tension and just simply let go.
Yeah.
Have the confidence that your organism knows what it's doing.
Yes.
Or you know what you're doing because you're all part of it.
Allowing the body to find it. And I can actually feel the difference in my shoulders, I have to say.
Right, yes, you immediately feel
Yeah.
the coordination change in the whole organism.
Yeah.
And that's just a very, very small part because I don't want to take too much time. But the other approach would be to say, as you're sitting there, what is your support? Where are you supported exactly when you're sitting on the chair?
Well, the chair is supporting the back, or what am I holding?
Well, what is allowing you to stay on the chair, supported on the chair? If I took the chair away, what would happen?
I'd fall over for sure. Well, if you took the chair away, I'd have to be using my thighs and the lower back to support me.
Okay. Well, no. This is oral, isn't it? What about sits bones?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
you're
lower
sitting
back.
on your sits bones.
Yeah.
So that automatically is helping you
Yeah.
support. It's true that yes, you can have the back of the chair to support your back. There's
Yeah.
no
Absolutely.
rule that says you have to sit up straight with that the back of the chair. What about feet? Do the feet support you?
Yes, they are at the moment. Yes.
So just to test that, if you lift your feet up, what happens?
They were still sat down.
You're still sat down, but is there a change in the...
There's more pressure on the lower back.
Yeah, you're having to hold yourself
Yes, you
because
push
you're not
into the
allowing,
chair more.
You're not allowing your feet to support you.
Yeah.
So that's just very important. I mean, the whole kind of principle is how are you supported, where are you supported? Because if you think you're supported in your lower back, you're going to sit like that. If you understand that actually your sits bones are there, your feet are there, and that's the support you need, and it's the spine that's really taking all the adjustments for you, there's nothing to do. So for example...
So if I sit more like that...
We'll come to the edge of the chair.
Yes,
It's
if I
easier in
sit
that sense.
like that, that is, for my body, is a better way to be sat.
I don't want to say better or worse because it's just it's your choice in the end. But if you have your support, I want you to, without giving you an answer, I want you to decide.
It's an awareness.
It's an awareness of where is my support? Can I allow my sits bones in the chair to really, really support me in those two parts of my feet and my sits bones?
Well, when you talk about it, yes, I've become aware, and as you're talking about it, I can feel that in the sit bones, yes, they are taking the support, and I'm actively thinking about them taking the support.
And does that change anything?
It does change. It has changed. Yeah, it's changed where the pressure is. It's actually taken the pressure off the smaller the back, and I can feel that it is more in the buttocks, in the sit bones.
Which is what we're made. That's how we're made to sit if we're going
Yeah.
to sit. So the whole idea is, it's an education, as I said in the quote, of understanding how we function as humans. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And once your thinking changes, oh yes, I have my support in the sits bones and the feet. Is it necessary really to have that back to support me, or can my spine support me? So it's really an exploration that I like you and students to make, rather than me telling you how to do it. And that's where the learning methods comes in, because I trained as an Alexander teacher, but actually in the first year of the training I met David Gorman, and he at that time was doing his own research. He was an Alexander teacher. He trained with Carrington, who was trained by Alexander, so it's kind of direct lineage there. And he was pushing the boundaries, asking questions about the technique, and saying, well, okay, it is a mind-body thing, yes, I understand that, but what if we learn more about how we function, how our ideas and our thoughts affect the whole coordination, not muscular but nerves, organs, everything is just works as an ensemble, it's a whole
Absolutely.
unit. And what if we learn about ourselves and how our thinking and our ideas affect the rest of us?
Absolutely, the connection. It's the mind-body connection.
It's
for sure.
It's going deeper that way. And I mean, Alexander did query this and say, yes, please go on with this research, because I have a feeling there's more to it than what I'm saying. And it's true that the Alexander technique teachers, the societies and the organisations at the moment are doing a lot to push it forward. But for me, at that point and now, his work is innovative, it's unique, it's incredible. And I've seen the results he's had and the results I've had. So I tend to use the hands-on approach with the Alexander and some of the principles, because obviously they overlap. But I am really for this learning methods approach too, because for me,
Absolutely.
the process of learning is just as important as the result.
Yes.
Well,
that's
more
for
important.
me. The education and learning is what the part that creates lifetime change.
Exactly, and it's long term. It's not short term.
Yeah.
So we're not looking for coping strategies. We're looking for
Change of habits, as you said.
a whole change,
Yeah.
and to give you the tools and the means to continue yourself. That's the that's the bonus.
Yes, but that is probably the most important thing, because you need to be able to transfer this to everyday life and to everything you do in life.
Right.
That's really makes it worthwhile.
And in the workshops, that's what I do. We always begin the workshop with people coming back with feedback from their explorations. Not any feedback, questions they may have, and if they want to pursue some kind of, I don't know, something else that we've done, and so it really is the students who push to the design of the structure of the workshop.
Well, it's individual for every person you see,
right?
Because every person is unique and individual, and everybody is different.
Right.
And obviously it involves quite a lot of reflection, because you have to think about what you're doing and how you're moving and how your body works.
Right.
Because your body will work very differently to the person next to you.
Right. But you can also learn from other people too, which is why I like group workshops.
Yes.
Which is why I like to do the adult group workshops and the kids.
Yeah.
Because just by observing, it's not so subjective. When you're in the middle of it, you're in the middle of thinking and all these changes that are happening, but when you're observing it from the outside, you have another perspective, and that's just as important in the learning process. So I can give individual classes with adults and workshops, and for kids, I find I've said that this workshop is for 8 to 10-year-olds, because I find up to 8 kids kind of keep their natural poise and ease and freedom, but when they're becoming a little bit older, they're starting to imitate the older ones.
Modelling.
Imitate their brothers and sisters or whatever. So kind of like the slouch, the kind of brother, or they're just so involved mentally in their schoolwork, which is another thing, that they're completely out of touch physically.
Yes.
So I think it's a good age to prevent them beginning the bad habits that in the long term can really cause a lot of damage.
And that's a very key point. Prevention is always better than cure. And if, say, from the young age, if you can form good habits, you are creating a lifetime benefit.
Right.
For sure.
And also about learning, because school can be very stressful. The idea of concentrating, so this kind of all this stress and effort. And in fact, if you understand how learning happens, there's no need for that. Okay, I don't understand this, but why? What is the question I would have to find the answer? And again, this is so important for learning as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But from a posture point of view, of course, it's the screens. And the
Screens,
laptops
yes.
and the computers, which, makes you more and more like this, for sure.
But that's it. That again is trying to win the game. Is trying, and if you start becoming aware of where that leads, that gives you a choice. It's always a matter of choice. It's very non-judgmental as a technique. It's giving people the education and the choice. So if I want to sit like this, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as I know what I'm doing. And eventually I will, because I will start having backache. Remind me. Oh yes, I remember.
Your legs put across. Yes. So you're doing this face-to-face in small groups at the moment, and also on Zoom. And you're also offering dance classes for adults as one group and children as another group via Zoom.
Right, yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, of course, all my training in Alexander and learning methods underlies everything I do. It's just, that's part of your life. It has to be. So a lot of that is integrated into the dance. It's based on contemporary dance, which I think is a nice way of being able to integrate the techniques. Because it's to do with releasing, it's to do with support and the weight, the gravity, and how you play with that. And it's to do with creativity too. So in both the adult and the children's class, I bring in some kind of creativity and some kind of exploratory exercise or game or something. So it's freer than actually having to go from one exercise to the other and try and memorise it, which is good because it's excellent for memory.
Yes.
So it needs to be done, but not to such an extent that you're always kind of on the edge trying to figure out.
But it's also good to be creative, isn't it? Because we do live in a world where, especially when you're a child and you're in school, you're instructed, and the creativity can be squashed. And there's many ways of being creative. You don't have to pick up a pencil or a paintbrush, which we traditionally think of creativity being that. But yes, there's no reason why you can't be creative with your moves. I presume you would say, what's it like to be a leaf, for instance? I remember that from my childhood. Which engages all sorts of thought patterns and movements.
Right, and self-expression.
Yes.
Which I think is so important.
Absolutely.
The kids have the chance to show a bit of themselves. This is what I like doing, or this is what I think of this, or it's a lot of it is based on the Laban principles. So exploring space, exploring energy, dynamics, relationship with the environment, with each other. I mean, he was just brilliant. Basically formed the whole basis of what movement is. And then, yes, we can work from pictures, we can work from ideas, from seasons, from anything, if they come in with a drawing or a story that they have, we can work with that. So it's, with anything really.
Excellent. So tell us when these classes take place.
The kids' classes are on Wednesdays at 2:00, just for 6 to 8-year-olds. Followed by it's a movement Alexander class for 8 to 10-year-olds. And I say movement because you've got to move. You've got to move, especially if you're 8 to 10s.
Absolutely.
And especially boys, because they have all this energy. And I would like some boys to come in and try movement, because I used to teach dance a lot at the centre, cultural centre in Vence, and the classes were always girls, not always, the tiny little ones I had some boys, but later on they were girls, and their brothers would come to pick them up from the dance classes, and they would look, and I could see they were just dying to get in, and
have a go.
Go in, and they'd have a ball. But then the parents would come and that would be it. So it's a real shame not to let. I mean, it's so, it's the 21st century.
Yes.
Everybody has to move, and
Yes.
it's such a natural thing to dance. It's not just for girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's really to help the boys come in and it's not dance. It's not fairy dancing. It's movement. We can work on karate moves as well. It's to help in sports. The kids can come and say, look, I fell over in karate, or I can't do this, and we can work around that. So it's very free as well.
Excellent, excellent.
And the adults class is on Tuesdays from 7:30 in the evening.
Okay. So how can people get hold of you if they're interested to learn more?
MBS.
Yes.
MBS site is the best site, obviously.
Thank you.
It just makes more sense to register and to pay through MBS. And I also have my own website, Mouvement-Envie, and Mouvement, it'll be on the screen.
Yeah.
Mouvement-Envie.fr.
I say otherwise they can go to the MBS site, which is www.mbsacademy.com. All the details will be on this video and around any information you see online. Thank you so much, Julia. It's been a great pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
And look forward to further conversations and seeing some of the videos of the classes that you hold.
Sure.
Thank you.